Evening, folks. Welcome back to the channel. I swear I had like 1 extra minute, so I just gotta make my Twitch chat room a little bit bigger. If it causes any lag, I'm sorry. It's all the equipment's fault because I clearly know what I'm doing. This stuff just needs to get it together. What's up, Patrick? Glad you made it. It says, hey, Nikki, hope you're well. Clock change here. Clock change day here in Britain. We go back an hour. Think you changed next week? Yeah, I forgot it's this year now. Let me look into that. What's up, We Owe You Bill Cooper over on Twitch? How's it going? Oh, let me look that up. Yeah, it's this year. I have to care about that now. I only have to care about it because I care about people across the pond. Daylight savings time 2025. I must have looked this up before. Oh, yeah, here we go. At least in the U.S., the date changed. We go 1 hour back, November 2nd at 2 a.m. So not next week, but the week after that Sunday. Okay, so that's a little ways off. But then, yeah, I guess that's them for, so if it's midnight right now in the UK, that means by the time my show ends, it will be 3 a.m. there. That's a bit much. I've only ever done one 3 hour show, and that was pushing it. So yeah, that's pretty wild. It used to be they would just, I'm pretty sure they would just slide the clocks back and forth on the same day, but just to make it more difficult, they've changed it. Or like it used to be in the spring, it would be different. It would be like a 2 weeks difference. So we would sort of technically, in a way, be an hour closer to the UK and Europe, and then we would all switch back at the same time. But it's just ridiculous. Oh, what's up, One to Go To? Glad you made it. It's just we kind of went through that on an episode of Quite Frankly. Maybe it was last year, and it's basically no to daylight savings time because what you want is for the sun to be directly above you at noon for navigation purposes. What if there's no Wi-Fi? What if you don't have a phone and you need to know what time it is? What if you are a pirate? No Wi-Fi, you get it. So yeah, that's why. As much as I like seeing it lighter later, I understand, being practical. And you have to navigate. You have to know where you're going. Oh, Patrick says at 1 a.m. because we go back, you change next week. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Oh, Thomas Collins, what's up? Hi, Nikki. Hi, British family. Yeah, lots of left-handed folks. A good mishmash of. It's crazy to, if you stop and think about it, which I kind of don't, because sometimes it's nice to think about it. It's humbling, but you don't want to get intimidated by it. But the fact that you have folks watching you like in your own time zone, across the country, across the pond. We've even got B Chap. He's in Australia. That blows my mind. I mean, I've spoken to Frank Lee's from Australia. Tommy Saturday, he does not come around anymore. But if you go back to the Discord days, that guy, he's actually a Libra now that I think about it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, NT, what's up? Glad you made it. And Ezra, Mindful Exposures, glad you made it. Just folks from every time zone, every time of day and night, tuning into you. Like, even if they watch it after the fact, like, just like that they have time to tune into you live. It's it's too much. It's too much. It's like you can't thank everybody individually, but if you could, you would. Like, oh my God, me? Why? You just want to put out a good show for folks. One to go to said, you sound marvelous and looking really good too. Double plus. Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna remember to, I'm gonna check this after at least one episode just to make sure. Last time it held up, it did get very, very pixelated. If you've never played Minecraft, that's kind of how it looked for a time. It was almost like a modern piece of art. It was so ugly and boring and pixelated, but I don't know what that was. It could have just been a lot of times my hair is so frizzy the camera doesn't know what to do, so it just drops the, like it was no longer 1080p. But that cleared up. The audio stayed with me, which is the most important thing. Even if it's not great to look at, even I've had to do, like, I've been ironing the sheet before with my own show on in the background, just to, because that's the time I had to listen to it. So it's I hate to not to pay attention to myself, but sometimes that's how it goes. I am so happy to see everybody's screen names because we showed up to, quite frankly, first day of Scorpio. When else would this happen to me? And everybody's screen name was gone. It was just handles, so at symbol and all the rest of it. That's basically just no spaces, so it's harder on the eye. And me and maybe 5 other people know to do this, where our handle is the same as our screen name. My handle, it's still Nikki M. Carlin. There's no spaces, there's no punctuation, and the capital L, or the L is capitalized, like it's, poor man's copyright. But it's just, I'm not going to learn new names. It must be a setting. I don't know where that is. It must be something you have to turn on because it was not an issue. I set up the show and I looked to see if I just went into my chat room and typed and it came up normally, and I'm like, okay, maybe that works. Maybe it's just doing it for me, and I really can't get on Twitter or somewhere like, hey, go type in my chat room. I'm not live yet. That's kind of stupid. But thankfully, NT did. So thank you very much. They went into my chat room and said something. I saw their screen name. It's like, good. No more of that handle bullshit. Because again, I'm not learning new names, and it's too hard to, everything's smashed together. There's no place for your eye to, I don't know. I got to find a way to fix that. And I have to tell Frank, I'm not saying that's going to, cause any change to happen, but I've got to do the legwork on my side, because all that does is make it harder to read. It's already hard enough to concentrate at that show with ads popping up every 5 minutes. And it just, I really do hate this year. But it's not doing that for me, so that's good. And he says it keeps happening on other channels as well. Like, if there's a way to turn it off, I'll find it. Like, before it did not let you do this. Now it does. You can turn off the reactions. Now you can turn off that AI summary, chat summary, Satan bullshit. It lets you turn that off. So that's in my power to do. Stuff like that. Like, you can set, like, slow mode and then things like that. It's all when you go to set up a stream. So if there's a way to turn that off, if I can find it, great. So far, maybe it's because I'm a smaller channel. Maybe it's because I'm, like, skirting monetization. They're not, punishing me with that. But if you want to turn it off, that's how I spent a half an hour, quite frankly. I don't know what the guest was talking about, because we had a whole fucking project to work on and dodging ads. So it was just don't show up thinking you're going to relax, girl, because it's just not like that anymore. Now, granted, if I want to change something like my handle or my screen name, which I'm never going to do again, I did that in 2024, never going through that again. But for me, if I want to change it, because I have to update my description for my channel sometimes, most people are not going to have this, but the YT Studio app, you just go into there, way up in the top right corner, you tap on your avatar, and then it's like your screen name and your handle, and there's a pencil icon next to that. You tap that, and then that's where I can change my screen name, my handle, and all that stuff. But if you don't have the YT app, you don't have to. You just go to YouTube. I've got it on the screen here now in my chat room, but you go to you, which is your avatar. For me, it's the bottom right corner. And then it's your avatar much bigger, and it's got your screen name, it's got your handle, and across from that it says View Channel with an arrow. You tap that. And then it goes, it's got your avatar, your screen name, your handle, subscribers, videos, see your subscribers. It says manage videos. You go across to that. It's also on the right-hand side. It's another pencil icon. You just tap that. It takes you to the same screen. You can change your panel, your avatar, your screen name, your handle, your channel description. That's where all of that is. All you really want to do, make your handle Since there's that at symbol at the beginning, it's going to be very hard to read anything lowercase after that, just because it's already a small character. So if everything else is small, it just looks like a mush of small letters. So what you want to do, go to your handle, properly capitalize it. If your screen name is in lowercase, I don't know why you would do that, but a lot of people do. I can't understand that for the life of me. But properly capitalize things, since there's no spaces, so the I knows where to stop. And if you have numbers or extra characters or extra bullshit on the end, that's not even, if it's not your a proper name, don't leave it that way. Nobody wants to. It's very distracting seeing all these extra letters and stuff like that. Just make sure it's as close to your. Make your handle and your screen name as close as possible. A Nephilim Death Squad showed up. Theirs is exactly the same. Second Horizon, exactly the same. Nightcock changed his during the show. Be careful with that, because you can only update it every 14 days. So if you make a typo, you're stuck with it for 2 weeks. So be careful. But just get that updated in case it's permanent. It will make it easier for your friends to find you. Again, if I'm not learning new names, other people are not going to learn new names. So it felt very much like being in a brand new chat room where I didn't know anybody. I'm sitting in a room that's been my home for almost 11 years, and I feel like half of the people are strangers. And if people weren't so friendly, I would have had a bad time and felt like it was a bunch of strangers. Like when we got fucked off to Rumble back when Frank was getting a copyright strike, always in the middle of the month, every single month. It was. Dandy, what's up? Glad you made it. So, I mean, like, you don't have to. There's no rule that says you have to, but it's going to help out me in the long run. It's going to help out you in the long run. Just get that updated. It's free. No offense, I don't think anybody in there has. I always think of it as branding myself. Even before I had a channel or anything to sell, it's not like a lot of folks in there have their own channels. We're all just regular people, so I can understand why you wouldn't see. It was never necessary for them to match before until a couple of days ago. Now it is. Danny, yeah, that was odd seeing all the new names, because like my handle looked just the same. I wondered why it was so. Like, where's the dot after the M? And then I started looking around. I'm like, why are all these? Do I know these? First day of Scorpio, I was like, I know, I'm not going through this again. Patrick, right, yeah, sticking with Windows 10 for now, thinking of going to Zorin 18, need to get another hard drive. I just found something about, it was, of course, on Rumble. Not Rumble, fuck Rumble. Tumblr, the good one. Something about how to get the AI shit off of your Windows 11 device, so I've got that stuff saved. I gotta look into that. No Satan for me. So yeah, if you want to know how to update your handle, let me pop that in over on Twitch as well, just in case. Yeah, that just sucks too. It's hard on the eye. If I can find a way to fix it, I will. I'll do as much as I can on my end, but it's not, quite frankly, it's not my channel. I do want to say this. I probably should have said this at the start. I'm certainly not going to say it at the end of the video. But Frank had mentioned that his mom was going in for shoulder surgery. I forget which one. You've seen Terminator 2 with the silver metal arm. That's what she's got put on. But what it was, he said she was going in for surgery, and we would know more, if it was successful the following day. And then it gets to the following day, and people were hollering about it, caps lock and everything. How's your mom? How's Mama Valbiro? All this stuff. And we got crickets for an answer. So after a half an hour that felt more like 45 minutes to 50 minutes, I just decided, I was like, we're not going to get an answer. We're just never going to know, and we're just going to have to make up an answer. This is why my imagination is so good. I never got answers as a kid, so I had to make up my own. And I've never not in that situation. So we'll just have to make up our own answers. But then finally, at the very, very end, almost as an afterthought, he mentioned that she got through her surgery and she's fine. And there might have been some more information about it, but he was not saying that on Quite Frankly. He was going to say that on another show. But at least we got told something. And then that night, I had a dream that Frank had come onto his show, much like when we found out Flat Albert passed away, and he told us in the last 15 minutes that his mom did not make it. She did, I'm just telling you what the dream was. So I spent the entire rest of the dream, like I wasn't concerned about how it would have affected me or Frank. All I was thinking about was, how do I make this right for the Franklies? I spent that whole dream worried. Like, you can't turn that around in one episode. Just like the work that was going to be ahead of me. Like, while I felt like shit, I was going to have to turn. And then I woke up and I realized that wasn't real. And that was one of the cruelest fucking. Oh, I'm getting mad about it, talking about it. That was one of the cruelest fucking dreams you can pull on me this time of year. When everybody's died and. I got way more upset about that than I should. Hold on. And I'm not saying it's anybody's fault for what I dream, not even me. But if you know we're worried about somebody, if somebody's a Frankly, let us know about them in the first half an hour, not at like the hour 58-minute mark or however. Well, just too many people die this time of year, or have died this time of year. God, that vote's dust. Spent that whole show pissed off. Like, are we not going to get an answer? Because if it's a bad answer, he would be saving that for the end. It just. Frank's mom's fine. I wish he would have told us that sooner in the episode. And Wednesday's show was great. Leo Zagami couldn't be there for whatever reason, but I had the best time. I haven't had that much fun since the episode when Tracy Beans was on. That was great. And the rent got sorted out. I mentioned that last week. That got sorted out, but basically a paperwork issue. Put it like that. Took all fucking day to get sorted out on Monday, but it got sorted out. So yeah, if a Frankly is sick and or they need surgery or something, and you tell us, update us with that fucking immediately, if you would be so kind, because we worry about each other, we care about each other. It's not cool to leave people hanging, whether it's good information or bad information. Ezra says, I'll have to do that too. All this AI stuff feels like a leaky wire. The frequency is off. AI is Satan. The shirt says, not today's Satan. This is Gray Still Plays. Link in the description. Not affiliated. Just love the channel. Yeah, we don't deal with the devil. Okay, I'm gonna set this notebook aside. Okay. Yeah, it'll be fine there. No. Yeah, that. Okay. Phone just wanted to go on the ground. I watched the last episode back. As much as I felt like I was rambling, it still turned out pretty well, so maybe that's okay. It's weird to, like, do the thing and then you watch it back, and it's just so, like, I don't know, maybe people watch themselves back different. Like, there's people, if you like the way you look and you watch yourself back, it's different from just like, Oh, okay, that was a good angle. Can't do that again. Oh, that was a good angle. Oh, I shouldn't turn my head that way. Oh, Patrick says that the thing about Zorin is Brave is embedded in the server. Yeah, that's what I use, the Brave search engine. It's a lion. The like little logo guy is. I'm all right. Like it really is so. Again, I mentioned the light before. It's like just okay in here and just fine. And so about turning on the light, wearing a hat, and like your temperature goes up. It was probably cold outside today. Like we've been even getting like frost warnings and stuff, so it's gotten like 8 Celsius before. It does get cold. What did I write for the recap? I think I'm right this time. I didn't jump the gun with the recap like I did last time. This whole Bill Malloy thing, it's so. Ugh. I want answers for the guy's death too. I'm just as concerned as everybody else. But yeah, recapping it, Roger is just too happy that Bill Malloy's death was ruled an accident. We have never seen that man so happy. But Burke and Mrs. Johnson know he was murdered. And they want to prove it. Like, not for 1 second did they think this was an accident, and they know they're right. And when you feel something in your gut, trust your gut instinct. Everybody wants to go with the flow and accept the official statement, but yeah, they know Bill a little bit better, and they don't have anything to hide. Patrick, yeah, Brave, no adverts, no copying, seems pretty safe. Yeah, Brave, you're not getting pop-ups. I haven't used like I will rarely use Google to search something, and it's again just very rare. It's not even it's like a few times a year kind of a thing. John McHugh, what's up? AI scares me, Nikki. I think it is humanity killing. Yeah, it's Satan. That's all it is. Hey, here's a tool that makes things easier, and suddenly every single place you turn around, they have it integrated and trying to integrate it into things. And then all you hear about is like layoffs, like people can't are losing jobs because of the Satan technology. No, it's not good. And if you use it and complain about it, you're like a heroin addict with a needle hanging out of your arm complaining about junkies. Like pot, meet, kettle. Pick a side, good or evil. You can't be. Indifference is a choice. And I'm sorry things are so black and white for people, but I said my buddy died almost 11 years ago, and I didn't have a choice. But all I saw the world in was black and white. A thing either is or it is not, and there was no more gray area. And that's the way the rest of the world had to get in line with things about 5 years later. So I kind of got a 5 year head start on the way folks live now. You do have to be like read all the ingredients on the back of your food, know what company makes it, know the names of these chemicals you can't pronounce, who's friends with whom. It's all connected. Everything boils down to the same stuff. The world is an extremely simple place, but humans, we dearly love to complicate things, so therein lies the conundrum. But it starts stripping away the layers, get more and more and more perspective until your problems just seem like a speck of sand, and then you can zoom in on it and fix it. And AI didn't tell me that. I figured it out on my own. You'll never catch me on the Satan search engines. But anyway, Dark Shadows. We are on episode 75. This aired October 7, 1966. And we are still on that 8th day. It is the afternoon. And we are up on Widow's Hill. And Roger's he's just taking in the view. It's a nice day. It's up on a cliff, so there's always a breeze. The sun is shining. He just got good news. What's up, Arden? Glad you made it. Oh, what's up to Wally if he's with you? Roger's just enjoying himself out there, and up walks Matthew Morgan. It's like, oh, hey, you're out here, and Roger's just has a pleasant look on his face, and Matthew always seems to have that same kind of scowl, and it's like there's nothing nice about Widow's Hill. Roger's kind of not even here, and he like in one ear and out the other. He's never felt better. We owe you, Bill Cooper said, Keck Nicky, AI can suck it. Yeah, it can't even suck it. It doesn't have lips. And nobody's getting laid. Aaron said Wally is here. Yeah, good. He's gotta be like close, like within shouting distance. So over in the Collinwood living room, Victoria is about to go out. Carolyn, oh my God, this outfit is too cute. I kept getting so distracted by this. This outfit is too cute. It's Carolyn. It's a top. It's got long sleeves. It's a skirt that comes. When she wears a skirt, it usually hits right about at the knee. And it's got, it's like a double stripe that comes, how's it go? It comes across from the left. It kind of like swoops around the collar and then goes straight down. And then it has like 3 buttons on the inside. They're not, they're just there. They're not functional. They're just there because they look pretty. And the stripe goes all the way down the chest. It goes all the way down to the top to it's a 2-piece. And it's so like you wouldn't think just 2 stripes going down the front. It's so like it's sexy without being, because it draws the eye to like the shape of the body, but it's not. It's a long sleeve skirt. It's not a sexy outfit, but like how do just 2 lines look so sexy on a dress? Like it's so cute. I want to wear it. I don't know if I could fit into it, but I would want to wear something like that. Not for the sex appeal. I just think it's cute. Don't know what color it is. It's some of the stuff I'm trying to remember. Can't recall if we see this in color. And it also has the same detail on the cuff. Like we got like the stripe, little bit of button there. And Victoria sees Carolyn, and she's just, know how, Carolyn's just been going off lately about, Vicky spending time with Burke, and Vicky's just not in the mood for it. But Carolyn, she's in a great mood now. She's too happy to even argue. She's like, Bill's death was an accident, and all the questions are over. Finally. But Victoria says, do you really think Burke will accept that report? So Vicky knows. She seems to be, it's not like she's necessarily, like, she's not a loud person, but she does seem to be, like, she will be sitting back and observing people. You don't realize she's doing it, but she's, like, slowly got this little, like, seems like a little list in her head on everybody. She's just building information on everybody. She's new there. Back on Widow's Hill, Matthew is saying that he thinks Burke is still going to try to make trouble for the Collins family. Roger is, again, he's in a very good mood, and he's, has a tendency to be sarcastic, a little bit dark. Oh, Matthew's worried about Burke, and Roger's like, oh, why don't you, push him off a cliff about it? Matthew's like, you shouldn't joke around about stuff like that. People might hear it and take it the wrong way. They'll think you lied to the cops. Roger, again, just in one ear and out the other. He's just having too much of a good day. What's up, John Rogers? Glad you made it. Like, nothing can get him down today. He got great news. But in the living room, it's Carolyn. She's just, floating down the stairs. She's got a scarf to give Victoria. She wanted to wear one out on her walk. And Carolyn's, oh, here, I've got a closet full of them. And she said they don't have many happy days at Collinwood. That seems like it. And she mentions how Burke threw her and David out when he heard the news. And Carolyn's like, well, if you're going to go out for a walk, why don't you check out Widow's Point? Or not Widow's Point, sorry, no, Lookout Point. It's a nice beach out there, nice view. Victoria's like, yeah, cool. So that's right about when Matthew comes walking in the door. But this is the way this scene is shot. We're at that window that they open up whenever they're stressed out, so we can see the doors, through the foyer entrance of Collinwood. But Matthew comes in, and he just mentions how Roger is up at Widow's Hill. And he just mentions if he's seen Miss Stoddard around, I just want to say I'm, happy about, hearing about the coroner's report about Bill. It's like, oh yeah, she's around, somewhere maybe. So up at Widow's Hill, Victoria, she finds Roger up there, and he's kind of casually just glancing around, picks up a stone. He's throwing it as if he's skipping stones, but we're up on Widow's Hill. I don't know what that's about. But just casually, every so often chucking a little stone off the rocks. And Victoria's kind of, I can see why he's in a good mood. But she mentions that, Carolyn said I should go take a walk at a place called Lookout Point. Frank does have a premiere at 8 p.m. It's in a little bit less than a half an hour. It's a premiere. That means it's something that you've seen before. He's not like live at that time. Oh, wrong page. But yeah, Victoria's mentions Lookout Point. And I'm thinking, like, she's not from here. You can't just mention places and she's just going to bust out a map and know where to go. But Roger's like, oh, yeah, there's the path right down. It's off to his left somewhere. Like, oh, if you, it seems as if you were to, like, go down Widow's Hill, there's, like, a little path in the beach, and he kind of just points off that direction. So back in the living room, Carolyn is on the phone and she's telling Joe it's the good news, and we don't hear him. It's just her side of the conversation. It's like aren't you happy? It's like, why do you think Burke would cause trouble? That's when Roger comes in, and Carolyn gives him a hug. It's so worried about the whole Bill Malloy thing, and Roger's like, I wasn't. Come on, dude. But then Carolyn reminds him that he lost something expensive of Burke's. Okay, yeah, new location. We are at Lookout Point. It's daytime. It's just a calm beach. It's not. We're not getting like roaring waves. Just normal sandy beach. You don't really have to. You're not gonna get your feet wet unless you walk directly into the water. Very calm. Just mostly sand, little like rocks and things just scattered about. It's not like the kind of beach where you're gonna see like families building sand castles. You just sort of like walk along, admire it, keep it moving. And it's just Victoria. She's just kind of, noticing what's on the ground, like rocks, glass, whatever. She's not picking anything up, but like you take a few steps, you see what's around, look around at the beach, just casually strolling through. So in the living room, Roger pours himself a drink. And he does not remember that pen for nothing. Carolyn's like, you have to remember, it was the night that Bill Malloy died. You said it was too expensive to take from Burke, so you took it from me and you put it in your pocket, and you said you were going to give it back to him the next time you saw him. Carolyn, yeah, and you were pissed off too. And dude, he went off when he found out she had that pen. So Burke said you didn't have it when you went to return it. And this is the first time Roger's like, I think Burke's telling the truth. I can't believe he admits it. This is probably the only time he honestly believes Burke is being honest, and he admits it. And you never saw anybody leaning so casually on the piano. Dude is just straight chilling like a villain. I don't even know if I can get my body to angle like that. Dude is just like, he's just, arm is just completely on the top, torso across, just, he could not be more at a slant, casual AF, just talking to Carolyn. It's kind of the way I would lean on something with my bad back. Just like, I'm getting the full stretch out of this. But Carolyn's trying to, work it out in her head because she knows she gave him the pen. And she's like, well, okay, well, she just figures that Roger went to the meeting after he took the pen, so it must be in Collinwood because he didn't go anywhere else. Roger's like, yeah, I suppose so. I don't even think he remembers right now. So at lookout point again, it's, Victoria just, every few steps she's just kind of looking around at what's on the ground. But she takes a step and something, makes her stop and catch her eye. So she has to get down, and there's like this little, it's something shiny like a stick, but there's some seaweed on it. She picks the seaweed up off of it, and then you can see it's this very thick silver pen, just, capping everything, just sitting there on the sand. Cool, free pen. About, 15, 20 feet away from the water. Love boat. Want to go to like a Lucy reclining on Schroeder's piano. That's what it was. That's what it is. That's exactly. Thank you. I would have never. Thank you very. Yeah. That's it's just straight up chilling. Like you never saw. Like as much as we see, everybody's got great posture. Everybody's standing up or they're sitting in a chair. But dude is just casual AF. Like that. Minus the flirting because they're family. But over in the Collinwood foyer, Carolyn asked Matthew if, hey, have you seen a silver pen laying around? It's like, no. Oh, well, can you help me look for it if you see it? That kind of a thing, so he's looking for it too. So we're in the living room, and here's Roger. He's looking under the sofa cushions. It's like a cushion on a chair. He's, looking behind that. He's paying really close attention to just more of like looking more at the room than he normally would. He usually goes to the wet bar. Now he's like looking at every surface, looking under tables, kind of like he lost something. But Carolyn comes in and says, well, I asked Matthew to look for it. Roger's like, why did you ask him? Right then, Matthew Morgan walks right back in. He's just to let him know, hey, I just saw Burke Devlin pull up. And there's a knock on the door. Roger was having such a good day, and just all like as excited as he was to run in and tell Liz, and just it was nice while it lasted. A vibe check. Yeah, there goes our happy day to shot to hell. And we see Widow's Hill for the credits. And all the ladies must step into their clothes. Nothing goes over their head. I've pointed out before how every single outfit, even if there's buttons going completely all the way up the top, like it's a one-piece dress, even though there's buttons going all the way up, if you see the actress from the back, there's a zipper. I'm just checking the audio. I mean, of course, there are exceptions. If the actress is wearing, say, like a button-up shirt and a skirt and a sweater, there's not going to be like a zipper on the back of the sweater. That's a little bit ridiculous. But as far as dresses go, it does make sense for a dress to zip up the back completely. Not when there's buttons all the way up the front. But there's the TV way, and then there's the real life way. Like a zipper on the back of the. Okay, there we go. It seems like the delay is not too bad. It's like what, roughly 15 or 10 or 15 seconds. It's not like I'm saying, like, asking people for poll results or anything. I just wonder about that. I did so many shows without realizing it was the lag. Oh, where's the top? Or the bottom? Or the side? I guess you can't put it up sideways. How tall is your TV? About 2 pillowcases. Oh, what's up, Runes? I said, I heard this is the place to hook up for some weed. Yeah, I mean, you can't smoke out on the balcony. I can't while I'm live, but don't let me stop you. Smoke one for me. Alright, yeah, the fashion is one of the best parts of Dark Shadows. Even the bad fashion is awesome. Yeah, you were gonna see some of the best and worst clothes, hair, makeup, in your entire life. So you get to see. And like how they don't really, like, if you go back, I don't know exactly when it stops. Maybe you can pinpoint it. Watch the earliest episodes with, like, say with Liz with her hair up. It's kind of like they were still learning what hairstyles were going to look best on some of the actresses, so they didn't quite. It's just like it's not. Maybe it's because I'm used to her later hair. It's not bad, but it's not what it would become. It's never sloppy. Like they're just still working it out. I used to know some runes. I only know enough runes to write my own first name in them. So yeah, if you do, it's nothing that's gonna distract you from the show. It's just because I look for details. So, maybe you're going to watch the whole show and not even. Like I mentioned, the zippers, and like they're even back there when the girls are wearing corsets, and Arden's like, I never noticed. Because you're not going to really, like, there's too much other stuff going on to really notice, so you have to go through it a few times. Or wonder, like, why there's a line up the back of the dress when she's wearing a corset in the front, and then you start LOLing. Oh, you can almost change your name back. Yeah, you can change your name every 2 weeks. So yeah, I just don't know runes that. Like, if I did know them, it was 20 years ago, and I can't remember 20 minutes ago, let alone 20 years ago. It's a real language. Episode 76. This was October 10, 1966. We are still on that 8th day, 8th afternoon. Yeah, runes, yeah, 14 days, yeah. See, now you're going to change your handle, and if you, like, don't change your avatar, and we'll know who you are. Oh, runic keyboard app, nice. Like, you can use hieroglyphs, but those are real hieroglyphs, not my hieroglyphs, so just a little bit harder for me to read. we are in the foyer. And remember, Burke just pulled up and knocked. So they let him in. And Burke wants to know, where's Liz? She can't be far. Asshole. And he's like, I'm here for Collinwood. Roger sends Carolyn to go find Liz. In the living room, Burke is letting Roger know that he's like, well, Matthew Morgan tried to kill me in the Blue Whale. Roger's like, well, I wasn't involved with that. And he tells him to just accept the coroner's report. Burke says, I don't agree with it. Oh, what's up, Beat Chap? Glad you made it. So at Collinwood, we're right outside the doors. And, Carolyn's just, well, Liz is, just walking. She was just out for a walk, so she comes walking up. And she's, oh, there you are, Mother. Burke's here. Oh, there's a hieroglyph one. My goddaughter Enya can read and write in hieroglyphs. It might already be in computers because, like, sometimes you go into comment sections and it's all hieroglyphs and people think they're being cute and they don't realize that, like, birds are just the letter A. Not every time, but sometimes. So, like, good, you know your vowels. Or like that feather, that's an I, two of them are a Y. They don't know if they're typing, they're just using... they're just trying to be smartasses. But if you know ancient Egyptian, you can type in the hieroglyphs, and other people who can read it can read it. I'm sure it's a whole different keyboard setting. As much as I do have my own hieroglyphs that are similar to ancient Egyptian ones, and some mean the same thing, some are different, it would be too much to have to switch back and forth to type the way I write, fortunately. I wish there was a way to switch back and forth. Like, you can't read that, I can. I didn't write it for you. It decoded pulses from... Well, see, Copilot is AI. You don't want to do anything. You don't want, Satan making your decisions. That's what this thing has, Copilot, but I found a way to get it off of there again through Tumblr. So in the living room, Roger thinks Burke wants to steal Collinwood. Burke says, I've never stolen anything, not even 5 years of a man's life. And you should have served that time, not me. I said I tried to learn Egyptian hieroglyphs. It was hard. Just get this book. It's How to Read and Write Egyptian Hieroglyphs by Mark Collier and Bill Malloy. I want to say it came out in 1998. When I bought it in 1999, it was black, but then, yeah, it did come out in 1998. But then you have to get the, this is the edition that they sold 2 years ago. It's the same book, it's just the cover is different. I owned this before. But you go into the back, and it will show, like, it has, practices you can do, like assignments. So, like, fill this in, figure out what it is, and then in the back it tells you what the answers are. But then it will have a whole, it's not going to show up very well, but it'll go through, and it's like every single glyph, what every single one means. And then you just get like blocks and blocks of similar glyphs. Like, here's all the ones that look like birds. Here's all the ones that just in two consonant signs. And so it's not going to show up on camera. It might look complicated because it's far away, but you start out small. You have to realize the vowels are not all in there. And it's not necessarily something you're like speaking out loud. It's more to like just know to be able to read. But yeah, you just you look at it long enough. I don't know like all of it, but it's you pick up on it, and then one day you're watching something about ancient Egypt, and you pause it, and you're like, wait, I can. I read that. I know what that says. I did. Well, I can read Tutankhamun's name. It's not written. It's like the god Amen first, and then like the Tut and it. But each chap, the Egyptians, along with the Roman Italians, used to write unusual things in stone. Plus, even production of random technology. Yeah, they had time. But anyway, Liz comes in. And Burke's saying like he came back to Collinsport because he wanted to just have everything the Collins family had, be as rich as they are. And Liz is like, you think with all your money you can be at Collins? Burke's like, hardly. Look at you two. See, Roger's just this dude, this paranoid guy afraid of his shadow, and you never leave the house. It's like, I only want Collinwood because I think it would be nice with my picture hanging up in it. And then he's like, well, what if I offer you more than Collinwood is worth? Here's Roger doing his 180s. He's got to turn around and look at Liz and walk up to her. Like, we got something to talk about now. Arun says there's a degree of usage separation between you and an Android Google device. Second ops guy like me. The devil never bothers me. I'm worse than he is, or I'm too luminous for dark forces. Yeah, I'm not using his search engine. Oh, Arden said I found that book on Amazon. Thanks. Yeah, yeah. It couldn't be too much. Of course, it's not on the back. Oh, but yeah, it's literally the same one I had back in 1999. Um, yeah, it's just gonna it's get you on your way. And then you can start. They don't do this now, but at least they did back in say 2003. People wore these. You would get them at like on vacation in Florida or at novelty shops. It would be a cartouche with letters in it, and then I'd be able to like read those back to people, and it would freak them out. Like Ashley. Um, I was just reading that comment at Rune something about ABBA, how the signal came out. Oh, is the moon out? It wouldn't be a full moon. Hmm. Good for it. It's been overcast all day. I'm sure it's covered up. Yeah, there's Roger doing his 180s. He's so great at that. But over in the foyer, Carolyn is just pacing back and forth outside the door. She's not eavesdropping. She's just pacing a little bit. Oh, what's up, Dragon Sage? Glad you made it. Smash that like button right, meow. Oh, he says, can't stay. Just here to read the meter. Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, good looking out, Dragon Sage. Well, Victoria comes back from her walk, and Carolyn's just like, "Oh, Vicky, they were right about Burke. He wants to buy Collinwood." Victoria's like, "Yeah, that's on brand for him." Going upstairs. She's not surprised at all. Well, I'm going upstairs. It's very unintentionally funny. We're in the living room. There's Burke. He thinks he owns the place. He's got his fag lit up. Yeah, puff, puff, puff. Now you're getting the whole place stinking up with smoke. God damn it. But Roger, he's totally flipped over. He's now he's on Burke's side, trying to convince Liz to sell. Oh, we'll get rid of these problems, and we won't have to worry about this, and we can just go and just every single option Roger brings up, Liz just shoots it down. Liz says, our great grandfather built Collinwood for his family. That's why I've kept it, to pass along to David. Then she said to Burke, why did you even ask me something I would say no to? And Burke says, he's like, well, he's always admired Liz. And he says he wants to own everything they have, and the Collins family can't stop him. That's right, yeah, take it a long break, but puff, puff, pass. Yeah, smoke it if you got it. Pass it around, pass it around. Now, I mean, I can't do these high, unfortunately, I found out. There's too much prep work to get through a show and be stoned, and it's very hard. It's okay to watch back, but it's just more work for me that you can't see. I would have to eat more beforehand. Too much effort. But up in Victoria's room, Carolyn's still on about it. She cannot imagine living anywhere else. And she mentions that, well, and her mom never leaves the property. Victoria says, so she can't sell, or she'd have to live with Burke. Elrond says, hey, Nikki, if you like that old-timey dress-up stuff, you should go to Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. Oh, yeah, like that. Like those whole-ass channels. They do nothing but, like, vintage. Like, they wear vintage all the time. Stuff like that. I don't know if I could go that far. I don't have the body for it, but it's very, I can't sew. You have to know how to sew if you want to get into vintage clothing, because like people will buy stuff and then you get it and it's just way too small, so then you got to copy the pattern and sew it yourself. So like it's not even like these girls are big, it's just like maybe they're just a couple inches bigger in every direction, so there you are, you got to like make the stuff yourself to even wear it, and it's just wow. Like I've got carpal tunnel. I can't even hand, so I can't. I can use a pedal in the car, but when you have to use a pedal for a sewing machine, oh no. Just stitches go in places. It looks like Picasso was sitting there like, oh, this is not okay. John Rogers, he said he was there last year. It's like, that sounds like a place that's near where he would go. I said, Rune says, oh, let's, put those corsets. Your mom was a seamstress? Wow. Because the thing with corsets is, if you just, like, get one, like, they're just supposed to tie in the back, and that's it. But the problem happened where, because people think you can't breathe in them, you can, but the problem happened where instead of it just like tying shut, like that, you like those little like rings that you can put like a shoelace through, when you start lacing a corset with that and you can lace it tighter and tighter and tighter, that's when you got like these teeny tiny waists and these chicks passing out all the time because everything's so squished up just to have. And what they would do is to make the waist look smaller. That's why he had the big shoulders and like the big bustle and stuff like that, to like create the illusion of a smaller waist. You don't like pull it and pull it and pull it till you can't fucking breathe and fall out. Yeah, it ruins. Yeah, I'm not gonna let AI. I'm not gonna wear any clothing made by AI. It's bad enough wearing polyester. Jen Rogers says that was about a half an hour from my mom. Yeah, it's a Missouri can't be that. It's roughly Ohio sized, right? Ezra says my mom used to make quilts, but I never picked up the skill set. That is cool. Sitting back and making clothing, and oh, there we are, sweetie. She can't sew Collinwood because she'd have to live with Burke. Down in the living room, Roger, he's still on about it to Liz. Like he's still trying to like any way he can try to get her to say yes, and she shoots him down every time. And Liz is just she's holding her ground. She's like, "I told you no in the last scene." She doesn't say that, but I really do get those vibes. Like she just said, she firmly told you no, and you're still on it. So but Roger he just wants to sell and run because of Burke. He thinks if they sell Collinwood, he can just leave town and never have to worry about Burke or any of his troubles again. He's a very cut and run. That's just his type. He's not gonna. His first instinct doesn't seem to be to stand and fight the way Liz is. But Liz is not scared of Burke. So Roger tells Burke, like, will you please step out of the room so I can speak with my sister? So he knows, oh, okay, fine. So he moseys into the foyer. Or, Carolyn's been down there, or she comes down there. And she tells Burke that, you've changed. Burke says, I've always been like this. And Carolyn says, you're doing this out of spite towards Laura Collins. And that kind of gets to him, but he plays it off. Why would I be mad at Roger's wife? Specifically, he says Roger's wife. They don't understand why he would want Collinwood of all places. But Burke said Collinwood is evil. Ask anyone in Collinsport. Oh yeah, yeah. Stay warm, Runes. Yeah, it's getting cold this time of year. Don't catch a cold. Over in the living room, Roger he's still here. He's still going. He's at one trap mine. He like this is a quick fix, so this is all I can think about. Roger's like, I know you're not keeping Collinwood because of Paul Stoddard, her husband. And don't say that man's name to her, because all you're going to do is piss her off. And just look at her face when he mentions the name Paul. Like, ooh, do not bring him up. Roger says, I don't buy that you're waiting for him. I saw you two together. Liz is like, you don't know anything. She just shuts him down. Roger, because like, oh, I remember I had breaks from school back then. I saw you two together. And Liz says, oh, you didn't see nothing. Oh, yeah, beach yap. Yeah, I forgot about like quilts. Got to have their like duck feathers inside. Yeah, like an old. I've never owned a quilt. I got like blankets and thicker blankets, but like an actual quilt. Don't you have to make those? Like, yeah, you can buy it, but aren't you supposed to maybe make it yourself? But Liz is tired of this. She's not gonna sell. She's tired of hearing Roger's mouth. Shuts him the hell down. So she opens the door. She has Burke, Carolyn, and Victoria come in, and Roger's like, "Why Victoria? Well, she's basically part of the family anyway. Come on in." So Liz is putting her foot down. She tells Burke, it's like, we've never used the Collins family money at you, but you've been talking shit about us all around town since the day you came back. And if you want to pursue this matter, well, I'll get my lawyers and we'll sue you for slander. So that's the end of that conversation. So as he's walking out, Carolyn just asks him to just stop all of this. Stop this vendetta stuff. Just drop it. Burke just says, I'm sorry you're involved. Like casualties of war, honey. And the living room for the credits. This is something you would have to. I wouldn't just like dive into this, but get you a tartan quilt. But you have to know. You don't just buy a pattern. You have to like know what the last name is. You have to know what name goes with the pattern. You don't want to just be a poser wearing plaid. I would think something big like that would have to have some kind of significance. Alrighty, episode 77 aired on October 11, 1966. And this is a brand new day, day 9. It is daytime. We're in the living room. And Carolyn, she's got this, it's like a sweater and a skirt. She's often like she does do the two pieces often. Sometimes she's in a full dress. Oh, this looks nice. One to go to says a quilting bee is a social gathering to harness communal work to complete a quilt. The term was commonly used across the U.S. and Canada. I love old pictures of people on planes, and there's like the old lady knitting. But what else are you gonna do on a flight? So might as well get some work done. That's so precious. Carolyn saying that Burke had joked that he would take everything the Collins family has. But she can't hate him because he's so handsome. And there's Liz sitting there, kind of. She's like, yeah, if he wasn't being such a dick, I'd think he was handsome too. So she admits it. She thinks slightly. They both think Burke is a good-looking guy. Like Liz really never quite like she might have mentioned it once before, but she's basically admitting it. Just like, yeah, she thinks she's hot. He's hot. So good for her for admitting it. Arn says, by the pattern of your mother's mother's mother, as far back as you know, or if you're American, just get the one with your last name. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I'd have to look into that. I have not come across the last name Carlin anywhere. Nothing to do with Scotland has crossed over with that last name that I've come across. Unless I go to Scotland, but that's different. But Carolyn said that David was in Burke's room, and she herself was mad that Burke had driven Victoria home yesterday. And she admits she doesn't know why she chases after Burke, except that he's mysterious. And Liz is wearing, she's got like the double pearl, no, double pearl earrings. It's sort of like a bigger pearl, just in the ear, and then just dangling down from that, it's like a little bit smaller one. So she's still got the double pearl earrings in. This one strand of pearls for the necklace. And she mentioned how like she married a mysterious man. and she loved him. And when Carolyn asked what their life was like together, it says, our life together, it was nothing. Ouch. I wonder how long they were even together, but that's I I really no wait, how long were they even together? Because when did Bill Malloy want to ask Liz, but then the smooth talker showed up, and then if Carolyn's eight, I'm just trying to piece it together. Like maybe her and Paul were not together for like I don't even think they were together for 5 years. He just like blew in, she fell in love, and he just blew away. Thomas Collins, that's it, Arden, and your mother's knitted sweater. Oh, it's cute. But in David's room, Matthew's up there. He's fixing it's like when the dresser, because like dressers joined together with wood. It's like he's like gluing that back together. So how did that drawer get broken? Was he throwing a fit? I don't know. But he's just just trying to work in off there. So David asks him, "Wait, what does he do when he doesn't know what to do?" And, Matthew's like, "Well, you can always." I mean, Miss Stoddard's a pretty smart lady. You can always ask her for advice. But he says a man can't live with divided loyalties. You've got to pick a side and stick with it, like he did with Liz. He is left-handed. When he's gluing that thing together, he's using his left hand. So the Matthew Morgan lefty, there he goes, right there doing the thing. So Matthew guesses that he is divided about Liz and Burke. And David's, yeah, how do you know? Matthew's like, well, I've been around. I just hear a lot. So then David goes and he pulls out this picture. He's like, well, I want to, show you this picture of my friend. And it's this picture of Burke. And it's, dude is just as dirty as hell. He's just covered in oil, but he's got his hands up in the air and he's super excited. It's his first oil strike. So this is our there will be blood moment in a photograph. Was not holding a milkshake. But he just, I forget exactly how it comes out that he has this picture. Like, well, did Mr. Devlin give it to you? And David's like, well, he would want me to have it. Bruh. But this is when Carolyn comes up and tells David, he is wanted downstairs. So David takes off and Carolyn's just kind of talking at Matthew a bit about Burke. And Matthew says that Burke is like a wounded tiger. You don't want to be pissing this guy off right now. And Carolyn agrees, like, yeah, he is a tiger. And she means it in a different way. Or instead of saying to Thomas Collins that as an American in Edinburgh, buying kilts for her husband and son, that's what the Scottish men wear, the store lady told me. So the husband and son are wearing the same tartan, last name, yeah, same last name, same tartan. That's what men, where you hear about folks that like hiring a kilt for a wedding. Hire just means rent, because that's dressing up for them. And it's not a kill unless you're wearing nothing underneath. If you're wearing underwear, you're wearing a skirt. It's not a kilt unless you're free balling. I don't know if that's an official ruling, but that's what I would say. Are you wearing a skirt or are you wearing a kilt? You don't have to show me. I would just appreciate some honesty. Each episode, I don't too much except for the Willie, the groundskeeper character, with the episodes of the cartoon show The Simpsons. Groundskeeper Willie, yeah, they were so close. So I can't say it, but low key put a pin in that. It'll come up in episode 5, 600 something like that. I know what moment I'm thinking of. I just don't know how far ahead it is. Ezra official ruling. Haha. That's what it is. You don't wear it short. Like a kilt is gonna be long. It's probably covering up the knee, so it's not like anybody. There's no reason for anybody to see anything unless it happens to be windy. But yeah, just know that. But down to the living room, Liz says that telling David this, that Burke has declared war on the Collins family, and he's gonna take everything we own. And David cannot believe it because Burke is his friend. So up in David's room, Carolyn just happens to notice that picture of Burke that David just had out. She's like, "Oh, well, what's this?" And Matthews, "Oh, David said he borrowed it." Carolyn says David can't be honest. He likes Burke more than the Collins family. Ouch. And Burke thinks that Bill Malloy was killed. And Matthew already knows Burke is going to cause trouble for Liz. He doesn't say the family, he says Liz. Thomas Collins says, "You're so cool. I'm having a whiskey right now." Hell yeah, drink up. I realize now that I watch these shows back sober as well. That's no good. I still enjoy them. Like I was watching this back today, like, dude, I am sober. It's fine. It's fine. I always said I would never watch Lady Gaga's Monster Ball sober because I could only like we could smoke a little bit of weed, and then I had drank 2 draft beers and got a headache. So any other time when I had the DVD, if I'm gonna watch that, if I watch it on YouTube now, I'm gonna make sure I have a buzz. That was filmed at Madison Square Garden, but I saw it in Cleveland. That was 2010. That was before we had Hair or The Edge of Glory. We had so much good stuff ahead. But down in the living room, Liz says, promise me you're never going to see Burke again. David can't. That's his only friend. And then he goes on, he thinks Liz is hiring Mrs. Johnson to be his jailer. So he's done. He goes upstairs, up in his room. There's Carolyn. She's got drawers open. She's looking under papers. She's looking under books. She's looking for something. And David sees us. He's pissed. He slams the door shut. What are you doing? So Carolyn asks me, where'd you get this picture? What's this about? Like, you probably stole it. And she's like, well, whatever. Burke gave me a more expensive present. David's like, yeah, well, yeah, Burke likes Victoria best anyway. I can tell. And these two are just arguing back and forth about Burke, and now Matthew's done, so he's walking out. And it's like, it's none of my business, but you two ought to be ashamed arguing over a man who wants to take down the Collins family. They really should be. Matthew's right. But David's like, I can't. Burke's the most important thing there is. You are completely obsessed with that dude, guy. So down in the living room, Matthew comes in and he lets Liz know. It just the kids are up there arguing about Burke. And he thinks that's what Burke wants. He thinks Burke wants to make the family, fight amongst each other. And then he mentions, yeah, Carolyn said that Burke gave her a gift, but didn't say what. And that's all he has to say. He takes off. Smoking San Fernando OG West Coast, Thomas Collins says, whoa, damn, whoo. Like you have no music playing, but somehow gin and juice is just playing in the atmosphere. But here come down to David and Carolyn. They're still arguing. And David's mad that Carolyn went through his things. So Carolyn says, well, you tell her what I found. And David's, all this over a picture of Burke. And there's Liz, never say his name in this house again. She is just completely fed up. And we do see the foyer for the credits. Yeah, there are not enough hours in the day to watch Dark Shadows. I wrote it down then. It's true. There's just not. I wish I could see more so I could get more done. Yeah, we are going to end right on time because Frank does go live at 9 p.m. Wherever he's planning to go live. So episode 78. This is October 12, 1966. We're still on that 9th day. We're into the afternoon. Thomas Collins, why would Burke want to elevate himself to a Collins? He doesn't, want to be a member of the family. He wants to, have enough money to buy everything they have. He wants Collinwood, he wants the cannery, but whatever is making the Collins family money, he wants to buy it up himself just so he can turn them out onto the street and then just, live the rest of his life knowing that he got back at the family who put him in jail for 5 years. So it's just, pure revenge. And to his credit, he seems to have done it. It doesn't sound like he's like Burke is not, say, marrying rich old women and waiting for them to die and getting their money. He's not making his money out in Vegas. He's not, say, changing his identity to scam people. It's like however he did make his money, it sounds like he's made it honestly. And he's made enough to be quite comfortable. And he, like anybody else, would be happy with that. But he's got that revenge angle, so he wants, he's probably earned, even like a ridiculous amount more than he would ever need just to be at the same level so he can, fight them. And he thinks he's going to take down this family that's been around for hundreds of years. And, maybe he does. Maybe he does have more liquid assets than the Collins family, so that's why he thinks he has a leg up on them. They don't say that, we just have to assume. And as much as he could just be like bluffing his way through, I really do think, if they were to investigate Burke the way Burke investigated them, they would find like, no, he does have X amount of money and like these holdings and these stocks and these properties and businesses. So it might be an even fight as far as, money is concerned. Like you can pay this much for a lawyer, so can I. But we're in the foyer, and it's Sam phones. And Roger answers. He's saying that Burke is just going to have to accept the coroner's report. What do we have to discuss? So it's like, well, I don't want you calling me here anymore. Don't come up here. No, I'm not coming to your house. Well, let's just meet at the Blue Whale. It'll look like an accident. Thomas Collins, he's got no soul. There's a part of me that wonders, like, who's worse? Is Burke worse, or could it be Roger? Because we kind of don't know. He was very close to, not close in a friendly way, but just in the vicinity of Bill Malloy when he happened to slip into the water. So who's really like, yeah, it's bad to want to take everything a family owns, but okay, yeah, he does have a reason, but it's also bad to push a guy into a water. If that's what Roger did, I don't know. It's looking really suspicious, even if the case is closed. Thomas Collins said, "You know what? I feel sorry for him. Yet part of me does too. I really do think he got a bad rap, but maybe he's not getting his revenge in the most. He seems to be rushing it, and I kind of don't blame him. After 10 years, you want to get shit done. He doesn't care who he hurts along the way. It just doesn't matter. And he seems like the type that maybe if he were to do all that stuff, maybe later on he would feel bad about doing something bad to David's family, to a lesser extent Carolyn's family. He does seem to, like, David's not his friend, but he is just a little kid. He's not going to be mean to it. He's not. Burke is nicer to a 9-year old than Roger is, and that 9-year old is Roger's son. So I don't think Burke's all bad, but he gets into like a mode where he doesn't care about who he hurts. But I don't think that's really him. Like there's like mostly, yeah, but I think there's somewhere down inside of him where it would keep him up drinking at night if he really were to like hurt people that badly. All of his like cutthroat deals have been business wise. I don't think he's taken down a family before. That might eat him up a little bit down the road if that were to happen. Beach Chef Roger seems like a pest. He really does. He's just there to kind of cause a little bit of trouble for everybody and just not be. He's rich, but he's not happy because he's not the eldest son. So he's got to be subordinate to Liz. But he's clearly not business minded. He just wants to cut and run. Where would the family be if they would have been cutting and running ever since Roger and Liz turned 18? They're not the same age, but still. Oh yeah, Beach Yep. Yeah. As far as Roger, he's not like Roger on American Dad. They both can be bastards. I think Roger on American Dad might wear is better in the costume department. Roger does dress well. I'm not knocking his fashion sense at all. He does dress very well. Yeah, Roger is supposed to be David's father, but he just treats him like an annoying, like your least favorite roommate. Like, you're still here. Ugh. Yeah, there's Sam. He wants to meet Roger at the Blue Whale. Okay, we'll meet there, but don't make it look like we're meeting there. Bye. So Victoria comes down and she's told she was just going to go get a book from somewhere. There's really not much to do at Collinwood besides read. Roger, he says, "Oh, it's such a nice day." He offers to take her to the Blue Whale, like one of our lovely local drinking establishment. You've never been there before, have you? It's just like, well, I was once with, uh, I was there before. Roger, gets her to admit it, and she's like, "Well, I was there with Burke, but it was just to read that report that he had his investigator look up about her. That's all she was there for." We do see the minute hand on the clock. It's between the 5 and the 6. That's all we see. But we are at the Blue Whale, and it's daytime, day drinking. It's Maggie and Sam are in there, and Maggie notices, like, saying to Sam, like, that's the first time I've actually seen you take a drink and enjoy it. Yeah, probably since Burke came back to town, or at least since all this Bill Malloy stuff started. And Sam's just glad that people aren't accusing each other of murder. But the door opens up, and Joe walks in, and he's looking down, not having a good day. But Maggie notices, that Joe walks in, he just goes to sit at the bar, tells her dad, hey, invite him over. So he does. Joe comes over, and apparently he got stood up for dinner because he didn't take Carolyn to the beach. Remember when she stopped into work? Hey, take me to the beach. He's like, I have to work. So he's, hang on. Let me call her up, try to get in touch with her. So he goes to use the phone. Anyway, as he goes to, use the phone, and Maggie watches him the whole time. She's got her eye on him. Sam notices, like, hey, I don't want you, thinking the wrong thing. Maggie's like, well, there's nothing wrong with thinking about it. She's wearing a sleeveless dress. I don't think we've seen her sleeveless yet. They got way too much eye makeup on her in this episode. She's so pretty. And they do a lot with the eye makeup, because just shading and just, how lights hit. You gotta just, get it right. But it's a little bit too heavy. Yeah, that's a premiere. That's something you've seen before. Over in the foyer, the phone rings. Victoria answers, and she lets Joe know that Carolyn's out. So back at the Blue Whale, Joe comes back and sits down, just not any happier. But Sam is saying, you got to take Carolyn and get her out of Collinwood. Maggie said, you just need to try something new. So Joe says, I ought to try a new girl. And the music's kind of upbeat, so I forget who offers. Maybe Maggie brings it up. Her and Joe, they go over to the dance floor, and they dance for a song or two, something like that. So back in Collinwood in the foyer, Victoria tells Roger that Joe called for Carolyn. There's Roger's only ever faithful Joe. And then he mentions how Carolyn is his only shot to be more than a fisherman. I think Victoria calls him on that too, like, oh, what's wrong with being a fisherman? Like, oh, I didn't mean to be a snob, and tries to talk himself out of it. Just doesn't really work. Well, okay, well, let's go. So back at the Blue Whale, it's really hopping for the middle of the afternoon. I don't know exactly what, maybe it's happy hour, but the folks are just up dancing, having a good time, laughing. And Maggie's talking about, she remembers the time Joe was playing football, and he made this 65-yard touchdown, but they ended up losing the game. And Joe mentioned, yeah, probably the last time I scored in my life. Was that, did score mean the same thing back then? Because that is hilarious now. Beavis and Butthead would have cracked up about that. But this is where we find out, because every single time Maggie and Joe are in the same room, she's always making eyes at him. She's always, paying very close attention to everything he's doing. And now we're getting the, like, she apparently has been watching him for years, was a fan of his when he was playing football back in high school. But I assume it was. People really don't talk about their glory days of playing football in middle school, so I assume it was high school. So she's had her eye on him for a minute. Like a real minute. So Roger and Victoria come in. And Sam notices. Oh, there's Roger Collins. I wanted to ask him about something. I'm gonna go talk to him. So Sam goes to speak with Roger. So Victoria goes over to the table with Maggie and Joe. Sam says to Roger, like they're over at the bar and they're kind of, like this talking. But Sam said, I figured since I wasn't involved in Bill's death, you were. Roger's like, same. Uh, but he says, you said you wrote a letter. Do you know how dangerous a letter is? And at the table, Victoria says that Carolyn said she went out for a drive. And then Maggie asks, what's up with that hiring a housekeeper? Mrs. Johnson's creepy. And Victoria mentions how Liz and Carolyn are alike in a lot of ways. Like, you never know what mood they'll be in. And as she mentions that she and Carolyn have had their fights. So Maggie says that she's jealous because Burke likes you. Joe says, oh, no, no, no. Carolyn doesn't like Burke anymore. And Victoria agrees. Maggie's like, sure. He asks some lovesick girl if she's off of a guy, and she says, yeah, and you believed her? Come on, Joe. But over at the bar, Sam is, again, they're just trying to. It's like the bar. It does have a, fairly decent amount of people that are talking, so they're just trying to like talk underneath the chatter and not be overheard. Sam is saying, no one will read that letter as long as nothing happens to me. Roger's pissed off. He just wants things done quickly. He's pissed off he's not getting his way, so now he just wants to leave. And he walks up to the table, and he's being insulting, like, oh, I hate to break up the conversation. What could you have been talking about? A fish or hash? He says hash, and he looks at Maggie. Like when I hear hash, I'm thinking drugs, but me. But it's when he says it, I assume like I know that's food as well, so maybe that's yeah. Nobody on this show isn't implying anybody else is a druggie. I don't think you're allowed to do that back then anyway. So we do assume he meant food. So it's like, oh, here are you low people talking about your low jobs, your unimportant conversation. Like he's just heavily implying that. But Joe takes offense to that. Like that hash comment, oh no, he stands up, he's right in Roger's face. He's like, I don't like what you said, you insulted Maggie. And Roger gives some kind of half-ass, it's barely an apology. And Joe calls him on that. It's like, well, your apology sucks. Somebody should teach you some manners. And so it's Sam and Victoria and Maggie. It's like, no, no, no. Like, you guys just go, have a nice day. Like they're very much trying to cool down the situation because Joe is hot. He's ready to go. If that wasn't his girlfriend's uncle, I'm sure he would have already swung on the dude because once Joe is ready to fight, you're just done. And there's Andy breaking people up. So he was that far gone. But then they all get him, out the door. And then Maggie she does low key tease Joe that he can't fight, Carolyn's uncle. It got close there, man. Oh, a Sweet Caroline. Yeah, that's a cute song, B Chap. That's a song I only know from memes. I'll mention after this episode is almost done. Okay, so in the foyer, Victoria thanks Roger for taking her out. And she mentions, like, oh, well, we can go out again sometime if Liz ends up hiring that housekeeper. Roger's like, Liz, hire a housekeeper? It's the first time he's hearing about this. Victoria's like, yeah, Mrs. Johnson. And we get a shot of the blue whale for the credits. There is a great meme. It's a set of memes on Tumblr. What's it called? Marriage Story with Adam Driver. It's one of those Netflix exclusives. I'm not. I don't condone watching Netflix exclusives. If you have Netflix, use it to watch movies. Don't watch the crap they produce. But Adam Driver, I was there, and there's this one famous scene where it shouldn't be called Marriage Story. It should be called Separation Story, because I'm spoiling this for you. By the time we break into the story, they're already separated. Uh, it also has Scarlett Johansson. She's a good actress. And it is, like, I'll be honest, it is very, like, okay, the guy can cheat and he's demonized, but the woman can cheat, and that's never brought up. So it's not like a fair, it's not presented fairly, I will admit that. But it gets to this one point where, like, they are going through a divorce. They've got a son who's 7 or 8. He's got his own issues. And it's just getting to a head, and they're in the same room and they're fighting. And so finally, just Adam Driver's character, he just breaks down and just kind of says what he's been holding back up until then. But he gets up in ScarJo's face. He's like, every day I wake up and I wish you were dead. And she just, we're not expecting him to get that real. And he just says it. So, like, we're all having the same reaction. But he says it, and he feels so bad about it. He starts to break down. So he turns around and just punches the wall, like, fist through the draw. Not all the way through, but like fist, like, fucks up this drywall. There's a problem now. So like they take the, just like the him punching the wall, like we see his back and his hand like hitting the wall. My arm looks terrible. It's just the him hitting the wall. So they'll take that and that repeated a few times, but like they'll just change the dialogue text. So it'll say, they do this for a lot of songs. It'll say like Sweet Caroline, and then they'll show him like that 3 times of him hitting the wall. So like in your head, you're thinking like bump bump bump. I'm explaining a meme and kind of ruining it, but they do it for like We Will Rock You, all of these popular songs. That's how memes work. You recognize stuff right away. But it just reminded me of that, just like Sweet Caroline specifically, and the I'm never gonna see that again. Tumblr, it's a fate driven website. You can't just go to the search engine and find what you want to see. It doesn't work that way. I tried. I shouldn't even. I know not to. But that's how that goes. Can I do another episode in 15 minutes? All right, we are on episode 79. This was October 13, 1966. We are on day 10, brand new day. It's been a full ancient Egyptian week. They went every 10 days, not every 7. You're learning something. It's morning. We're up in Burke's room. And Mrs. Johnson's up there. She cannot believe that Bill's death was an accident. Burke is like, same, but you've got to cool it with that kind of talk. Otherwise, someone up at Collinwood, he wouldn't like to hear that. And the phone rings. Burke picks it up, and it's someone just saying that Roger took Victoria to the Blue Whale last night. Sam and Maggie were there. Roger and Sam argued. Or it's like, oh, well, what's that? What's that you say? Oh, they were there? Like, that's how we get that information. We don't hear the other person on the side of it. So he asked Mrs. Johnson some questions, and Roger comes up, and she says, yeah, Bill or Mr. Malloy had no use for Roger, and that he and Sam were friends, and it's a shame how Sam let himself go. Had no use for Roger Collins. I know that's right. So down at the Collinsport Inn at the restaurant, Maggie's just wondering why, Sam, like, he's been nervous ever since he spoke with Roger at the Blue Whale. And there's Sam, I'm not nervous. And Maggie's trying to guess why. Like, oh, I know what happened. You guys both robbed a bank and you're trying to figure out how to split the loot. And he just gets mad at her, like, cut it out. Just might even pump fist on the counter. Just she was really just joking around, and he just gets mad. Okay. So in Burke's room, he's telling Mrs. Johnson he wants to know everything Roger does, like when he goes out, who comes over, who's calling him, all of this stuff. And then he tells her about Victoria's past. She was an orphan. One day she gets a letter to come work up at Collinwood, and she just did. Nothing about her past that he could find out. But he does think it's weird that that Liz would go out of her way to just contact some stranger to work up there when, she doesn't know anything about what happened at Collinwood 18 years ago. And Burke mentions how Sam has breakfast in the inn or in the restaurant on mornings when Maggie works in the morning. That's nice. It's not like he's like sitting around at home expecting his daughter to cooking breakfast and then he goes into her job and eats again. But Burke wants to know what Sam and Roger were talking about at the Blue Whale. And by the way, Mrs. Johnson, we don't know each other, do we? Mrs. Johnson's like, well, if it'll help us find Mr. Malloy's killer, I'll hate you in public. So she leaves. Mr. Blair calls, and Burke he wants to put an offer on the Collinwood mortgage, and asks, did you happen to know a Frank or Richard Garner? They're Liz's lawyers in Bangor. Mr. Blair doesn't, so it's like, good. He can't prove that Burke and Mr. Blair are connected because Mr. Blair has never met the Garners. Don't know if they've come up yet, but those are Liz's lawyers. So when the Collinsport Inn, Mrs. Johnson comes in and Maggie tries to hand her a menu, and no, she just wants her. I don't think she orders quite yet, but Maggie's like, I just typed these up. Look, there's not one, typographical error. I know that's right, girl. No typos. I'd have been proud of that too. Mrs. Johnson ordering her a vegetable juice, whole wheat toast, well done. like burnt, like carcinogenic. How well done can you do toast? Like warm it up, like not out of the bag. I don't know. I don't. And coffee. It's just weird. So Burke comes in. There's Sam still sitting up at the counter. Oh, hey Sam. Do you like that coroner's report? I don't. And Sam is like, no one had anything to do with Bill's death. And Mrs. Johnson stands up. Oh, well, someone did. Yeah, Burke Devlin. And he's responsible because he came back to Collinsport and upset everyone about what happened 10 years ago. And then Bill didn't know what to think. So that's when David walks in. And he is just starts, he just heard the end of that conversation, so he's going off. You don't know what you're talking about. He lunges at her, like they're standing. Burke's right there, so he like catches him, but he like for really like, you're 9 years old lunging at some old lady, dude. You need to calm down. Get this kid on some Xanax. You need half a bar right now. But yeah, Burke catches him like, slow down, pal. So over, he takes him over into the lobby, and it just David is just. It doesn't take much to set him off, and there's no calming him down. I guess they're all like that, but he's a little kid, so he just does not know when to stop. But David, he's sick over the way Burke gets blamed for everything, just like him. And he wants to kill them all, and Burke's like, whoa, 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 no, no. But David wants to speak with Burke, privately, up in his room. So okay, well, we'll talk. Come on, let's go talk. See, I don't remember. I don't know if I've seen the Lethal Weapon movies, B-Chap. I hate that I can't remember. I want to say I've seen one, but I honestly don't remember. That's when he's got the partner. Oh, I'm too old for this shit. So back in the restaurant, Mrs. Johnson, she calms down a bit. She just clarifies that how Bill or Mr. Malloy, he was different before Burke arrived. And, Burke showed up. It upset Liz, which upset Mr. Malloy. And he was distracted thinking about Burke. And he went out for a walk that night and fell into the water. That's what she figures. So up in Burke's room, David says, is it true you want to buy Collinwood? Burke says, it was your idea. Remember when you said I should buy Collinwood and we could have all that fun up there? So David brings up that, divided loyalties that people had during the Civil War that Victoria's teaching them about, and, General Grant, General Lee. And he doesn't want Burke or Liz to win or lose. So Burke says, we'll have to rewrite history so nobody loses. That's kind of why we watch this show. That's a line that if you didn't watch the beginning, stuff happens later on, and that's fine. But if you have seen the rest of the show, or if you haven't seen the rest of the show, we'll have to rewrite history so nobody loses. That comes up later. This is why we watch the beginning. You don't just dive into episode 210. It does pay off to watch the first 209 episodes before the big changes. But David gets up and he walks across to the table that has the phone, and he's saying like, oh, I gotta get back soon, or they're gonna beat me. They beat me all the time. And as he's doing that, he's like taking that photo out and he's like sort of sliding it underneath, just like the edge of like a piece of like newspaper there. I don't think anybody beats him. I think Roger just yells at him when he's mad. I don't think he cares enough to hit him. But they beat me all the time, and it'll get worse if they hire Mrs. Johnson to be my jailer. And later on, Burke is explaining that Mrs. Johnson only said that stuff because she's mad about Mr. Malloy being dead. And David thinks that Mrs. Johnson should apologize, like Carolyn apologized to him earlier for that picture. And Burke's like, a picture? David's like, that right there. And he, points out that picture that he just returned. Burke's like, oh, that. He clearly doesn't remember it, but he's like, I left that out for you to have. David's like, can I take it? He is wearing a better coat. He doesn't have that nasty coat with the loop thing. It's actually a proper, decent, not ugly coat. Why couldn't he have had that this whole time? But he's so happy. He picks it up. He drops it. He can't get it into his pocket the first time. But he's very happy to have that picture. It's a picture of his friend. Down in the restaurant, Mrs. Johnson orders another piece of toast. It must be good. Let me go to a restaurant and order well done toast and see the look that they give me. But she wants to have her piece of toast over at the table. The chairs are, the stools hurt her back. And this is when Burke and David come down. They walk in, and David apologizes to Mrs. Johnson, and she says she's sorry for what she said as well. I don't know if I pointed this out before. At first I thought it was just my bad hearing, but Burke often calls David Davy. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Of course, he's trying to use a nickname, like, hey, this is my friend, I'm using a nickname for him. But if you notice that too, I kept hearing it so much, I'm like, this can't be my hearing. I think he's really saying that. So if you hear him call him Davy, that's just what he does, just trying to be friendly. Yeah, that's a good place to cut it off. We'll come back with the disc 7 through 9 recap and some more episodes. I wish there was more time to do a show in 2 hours. That's okay. I'm glad you guys had a couple of extra hours on a Saturday. If you do want to watch Dark Shadows, I do have the link in the description for the show and the channel. It's on Tubi. Tubi is a free app. You can watch it on most things. Your phone, your TV, your PlayStation probably. All kinds of stuff. Next week, no matter what happens, I'm definitely not going to be going live on October 31st. Because I'm not going to stay sober that whole day. That's the day. I didn't think I was going to have to live through that day again. There I am going through it for the 11th time. So I don't plan on being sober for any of that. I don't do these things unless I'm sober. So no matter what happens in the, frankly wise, if there was a Quite Frankly show to go to, I would be there. I'm not going to put on my own show that day. No, that's the one day I say no to. But then we'll be right back here on November the 1st. And I get to not pay my car payment next week because I ran out of money. Oh well. So yeah, I hope you guys had a great time. Do not forget your pants because you will need those at Quite Frankly all week. I do know Frank is going live at 9. Based on the day, I would assume that's on, I don't know where that is. But he's doing that, and I guess, I don't know. But yeah, I don't want you to be late for that, so I do want to end this on time. So thank you guys all for showing up. Smash that like button right meow. Thanks for the subscribes and for your time and being Franklies and being based and sexy and all the good things. Thanks for sticking by my show. Thanks for sticking by Frank's show. It's yeah, I guess every day we're still here and still together is a good one. Have hope you guys have a good one. Smoke out on the balcony. Have a good night. Get some good sleep. Get something to eat. And I will definitely be seeing you in a chat room next week. John Rogers, have a great night, everyone. Yeah, you too. Yeah, so have a great rest of your night. Love all you guys. I do have to stop cutting myself off at the end of these. Yeah, good night, everybody. Take it easy. You don't have to go home. I wouldn't say. I don't want to say you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But you can stay here because I have more than one video. So yeah, take it easy, guys. This was fun. All right, and till next time.